but the first thing I did was validate it. I took it to a very good friend of mine, a molecular biologist, very smart, graduated from Johns Hopkins, and had gotten a job at the National Institutes of Health covering research. She did research on all kinds of things. She was in the mental division. And so I knew if anybody would know about it that I knew, it would be her. And sure enough, I took it to her home and I put the information down. And I always say she literally almost fell off her chair. She just looked and said, Debbie, I've been studying these molecules for 17 years. We've had scientists from around the world come to the National Institute to try to do this. So you're telling me that somebody was finally able to stabilize these outside the human body in a bioactive form? And I said, yes. And she said, you have no idea how massive this is. This will change the medical field as you know it. Those were her words. And she went on to show me this textbook that she happened to bring home that weekend. That to do more research on because she normally had it at work. And I opened, every page was redox. It was like seeing a second moon in the sky. I was like, what? Why don't we know about this? And she goes, who pays attention to science? And I'm like, you're right. So she was the first one to teach me that the molecules are so tiny. She said these particular molecules will be 4 atoms big or smaller, and sure enough they are. And she said they're meant to go through the blood-brain barrier, so not only will you see amazing results in the body, you'll also see it for any kind of mental issue that you can think of. And I just stood there and went, are you kidding? And she said, you have really no idea how big this is. She got on the product that night herself, and then she drove to my house to tell both of my children who are in their 20s to get on the product. She said, you may not feel much, but she said, this will prevent things from happening that you will never know you would have had. I wish I had found this when I was in my 20s because my cells were meant to live a certain length of time in a very healthy state. And that's what these molecules do. And she said, if I'd found it in my 20s, you'd be looking at a different person.
Wow.
And it was
just, I get chills when you say it. It's so profound.
I love this part of the story. I love this part of
it.
Me too.
So and she held the bottle and she could tell it was special. She just said, this is going to help cells become what they're supposed to become. Very young, healthy, enlightened. She used a lot of words. So anyway, that was my cue. I was like, okay, I'm telling people about this.